Hey guys, it's Ken Maxfield, the Hide Guy. Want to wish everybody a happy new year and a very prosperous 2020. This blog is going to be my weekly market recap for the week ending January the 10th. The week started out with Packers having offer lists that were noticeably smaller than levels seen before the Christmas and New Year's holiday. Packers continue to lay claims of possessing decent sold forward positions, supported by the fact, as mentioned, they had shorter offer list. The shipping times on the hides that were offered are noticeably further out than they were prior to the Christmas and New Year's holiday. As far as asking prices, that's the only bit of intrigue, for lack of a better word. They continue to offer at steady levels. There are some isolated attempts to get a little bit more money on some of the more popular selections, but that's meeting with the fair share of resistance from buyers. But that said, the bids this week, they weren't very plentiful to start with. They really didn't get the momentum that they usually get the second half of the week. Buyers continue to try to bid the market lower, but Packers are not hearing any of that. They're hearing to full asking prices. A lot of buyers are withdrawing their interest, opting to wait until next week, thinking the Packers need to sell. But right now, Packers seem as if they're in full control of the market, and there is not any hides trading at any less than steady levels. On the cowhide side, offers this week were noticeably fewer and lists not as populated as lists seen again prior to the Christmas and New Year's holidays. The processors are laying claims to enjoying some really decent interest over the month of December, especially for heavy native dairy cows from the upholstery folks now that the threat of the tariffs has been removed. This has allowed trading levels on cows over the course of the last 4 to 5 weeks to move up anywhere from $2 to $3 on some of the branded cow / native cow selections to as much as $4 on some of the dairy cow selections. And what's really kind of interesting is the fact that with that increase on branded cows, they're up over 50% from where they were. So that shows you how low they actually were. Interest this week, we talked to a handful of producers who actually said that the interest was limited, 3 loads, 6 loads, 2 loads, 4 loads. But they said by the time they ended up counting all the sales for their week, they ended up having a better than expected week. So I'm not going to lay claims they sold a week's worth of production this week, but they did sell plenty of hides, reflected by the fact that offer lists were showing shipments, well into late February into March. So as steady or as firm as this big packer market is, this cowhide market might even be a little stronger. As far as the harvest last week, this was the first full week of harvest for the year, 640,000. The comparison to last week on the holiday shortened week was 546. It was 631 this same week last year. Year to date, we're running about 120,000 behind last year. Now, that's because there's been one less day of harvest. My opinion for the year, I think we're still going to be somewhere between 0.5% to 1% higher than last year. A couple of key indicators that I'm looking at, cattle weights coming out of the feed yards are heavier than a year ago. That tells me cattle are stacking up. Also, the other part of that wild card will be last year Packers made some tremendous margins. I mean, $300, $400 a head during certain parts of last year. I'm not quite sure we're going to see those kind of levels this year. I mean, hey, if I could predict that, why am I working? But there are enough cattle to be harvested. There is decent demand on the export front. You have the African swine fever that I've been talking about in numerous blogs here going on in China. So there's still really good demand for beef. That should carry that over through the remainder of this year. And that's why I'm thinking about 0.5% to 1% higher. But we'll keep you posted along the way there. Going around the world, our friends in Europe are also reporting a better tone to their market. Prices are up versus what we've seen towards the end of November, month of December. Overall, most producers laying claims to being decently sold, and they're trying to get a little bit more money following this firm tone of the big packer market. We are hearing reports that, Italy is back from their holidays. They're starting to step in and buy a little bit. Of course, they always want to pay, are willing to pay a little bit more than the tanners in Asia. So looks like some good things happening for those folks over in Europe. Going down to Brazil, the situation is much improved down there, finally, for the people trying to sell hides. We're hearing that fresh hides trading in a range of somewhere between 50 to 60 reais cents. If you're still wanting hides to be sorted, you're paying as much as the 60 reais. If you're willing to take it more closer to a table run, you're paying 50 reais. As far as wet blue sales, we're hearing reports of trading into Italy at 55 cents for TR1s. China's paying somewhere between 50 to 51, maybe 52 cents for a little bit lower grade version of a TR1. But overall, that's much better than where we were towards the fourth quarter of last year down there because, as we said, there were sales as low as 40 cents a square foot there. Our friends in Australia continue to suffer through some of the worst wildfires in the history of the country. They're saying as much, the amount of land that's been burnt in Australia is equal to 2 times the size of the state of Maryland in the United States. Number of wildlife have been lost. There's been loss of human life, of course. Buildings burnt to the ground. Just a horrible situation. We're not hearing a lot that cattle have been impacted, but they're still burning. They're trying to get their arms around that, but right now it's a very bad situation. So our hearts and prayers go out to the folks down in Australia. They can get ahead of that down there. But as far as the market, they went through their traditional shutdown time. Some of the plants are a little bit slow to start up because of the fires. People are staying home trying to protect their land. They can't get to work because of the fires. So harvest levels are not running as high as what we thought. Down there, that market is also following the firmer trend of the market and is also trading a little bit higher as well. So overall, it looks like we've got a firm tone to this global hide market. As for what's going to happen next week, that one, my friends, you're going to have to check into the website. I offer free 14-day trials. You can pick up a membership. Every Friday, I give my forecast of what's going to happen to my readers. I encourage you to check out the website, www.themaxfieldreport.com. I do offer 14-day free trials. Just scroll to the bottom of the page. You're going to know what's going on before everybody else if you take my report. Until next week, it's Ken Maxfield. I'm out.